Hi, welcome to Chef Ben's Kitchen. Today's recipe will be roasted Yukon Gold potatoes. The ingredients for today's recipe are 3 pounds Yukon Gold potatoes, 6 tablespoons butter melted, 1 teaspoon dry thyme, 1/2 teaspoon dry rosemary, salt, freshly ground black pepper, 3 cloves, peeled and crushed fresh garlic, a cup of chicken stock, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley.
Preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit.
This is a head of garlic. Inside the head of garlic, you will find the cloves. So now, the way to get the cloves out of the garlic is simply to crush the whole head. Okay, and then you can remove the cloves, as you see. For this recipe, we're going to need 3 cloves of crushed garlic. First thing you have to do is get the peel off your garlic. Now, there's a hard piece on the end here which is attached to the bottom of the head. I always just cut that right off first. You just get that out of the way. Then the next thing you do is you give it a good thwack. And that will loosen the skin up for you. And if you're lucky, you can get your clove of garlic out of the skin. Okay. We're going to be crushing this garlic. And a really good trick is to put some salt on there. Okay? And then again, like I said, we're going to crush it, so we're really crush it. And then the salt will help us puree it a little bit. Maybe chop it a teeny. Puree some more. Okay. And that's what it means to crush garlic. The next thing we have to do is chop up our parsley. Best way to do this is just to pull the little heads off from the stems, because you don't want too many stems in there. They're not real pretty when you chop them up. Okay, so we need about 2 tablespoons of this. And it does get much smaller once you chop it up. If you leave the really skinny stems, it's all right. It's just the really thick ones you don't want in there. Okay, so we're just going to put it all into a pile and just go through it. We'll go through the other way and then gather it all back up. And that's all you really need to do. Don't overcut parsley. So there you have it. First thing you have to do for the roasted Yukon Gold potatoes is take your melted butter and mix it together in a bowl with the dry rosemary, the dry thyme, your salt. Of course, salt is to taste usually. Okay, and your freshly ground black pepper. And if you want, you can just take a little fork and mix that all together. Okay. And there you have it. For the Yukon Gold roasted potatoes, you want to cut these pretty big, about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch. So you don't want the ends because you want these to be flat on the pan. Okay. This is about 3/4. Okay, and you want to do that. It's a little too big. We might just have to. You want these to be as even as possible. We'll do one more. So that they cook evenly, you want them to be as even as possible. And then we'll just cut the little tail off of that one. Okay, so we're going to do that with all the potatoes. The next thing you have to do is put your potatoes in a bowl. And you want to pour your butter mixture all over them. Once you got them all covered and tossed in the butter mixture, you're going to do a single layer on a pan with an edge. Don't do this on a completely flat pan because you're going to need the edge later. Okay, spread them out evenly, leave enough space so they can get nice and crispy. If you feel like it, you can take and pour your butter all around it. Might as well not waste it. Okay. All right, now it's time to put them in a 475-degree oven for 15 minutes. Okay, so we'll put them in there for 15 minutes and then we'll come back and check them. Okay, so that's been about 15 minutes. So now let's go check our potatoes. And what we're going to do is we're going to have to turn them over and brown them on the other side. So let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. They are gorgeous. Oh. Okay, so we're going to turn them all over. All right. All that delicious butter. Oh my God. Okay, so now we will come back in another 15 minutes and we will look at them again. That's been another 15 minutes. And it's very hot oven. Okay, and I'll take these out and finish this up. Turn over one more time. And you just look at that color. These are going to be crispy and fluffy all at the same time. Last thing we do, well, is we put in our garlic. Mix that around a little bit so everybody gets a little bit of garlic. Okay. All right. Then we put in our cup of chicken stock. Okay. Then we put it back in the oven. Careful, this is very hot and stock splashing around. You might be better off just pulling it out of the oven like this and then putting your garlic and your stock on without taking it out. That might be safer for you. So we'll be back and check that in a few minutes. Well, that's been about 15 or 20 minutes, and let's take a look at our potatoes. There we have oven roasted Yukon Gold potatoes. Beautiful. Now we're going to go and plate these. Here we have them. The roasted Yukon Gold potatoes. These are crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. And you want to serve these immediately upon taking them out of the oven. You want your guests to wait for potatoes. You don't want your potatoes to wait for your guests. Last thing we do is we take our chopped fresh parsley and we sprinkle that all around. And there you have it. Roasted Yukon Gold potatoes. Now, this isn't in a recipe, but if you want to really go over the top, you can take some of our grated Parmesan and sprinkle that on there too. You can't go wrong with that. So, we just got to take a look at one of these. You'll see it's nice and crispy on the outside and nice and soft on the inside. That is unbelievably delicious. The recipe for this video can be found in the description below. And don't forget to find more recipes at Chef Ben's Kitchen at YouTube.